All right, welcome everybody. Hi, Jennifer. It's great to see you again. Great to see you again. All right, this
Yay!
this is our once a week check-in, right? Real estate investors and fundability mavens all come together in this show to kind of take on a brand new subject, right? That's you're running into in your social, and I'm happy to weigh in everywhere I possibly can to make it easy for people to do it right and do it well. So, what's on our docket today, Jennifer?
So today I wanted to talk about the foreclosure market and what's happening with mortgages. So many people are worried about this, as they're calling it the shadow foreclosure market, and they're worried that the whole market is going to get flooded with all of these potential foreclosures. So what do you say? What do you know about
All
that?
right. So this interestingly enough, I had my bi-weekly call, semi-monthly call with my FICO liaison yesterday. So we'll talk about that in a moment, as well as it was a few weeks ago, but I attended another Fannie Mae Freddie Mac symposium, right? It's kind of like the government sponsored entities, and everybody's kind of asking the questions. So first things first, when it comes to mortgages, let's go back 6 months and a year ago to kind of get the feel for it. I've attended these symposiums from Fannie and Freddie 3 times now. It's almost every 6 months, right? And so what the word was back then was, hey, freebie, give everybody a 6 months if you're having trouble. And to get the first one, you didn't even have to ask. I mean, all you had to do was say, hey, do you guys happen to have a moratorium? And they're like, well, let's sign you up right now. Give me your information. And it was done. There was no means test. There was no about review. There was no check-in about your finances. It was literally, hell yes. Then they said that at month 6, now this was before so in the first one that I attended, 6 months in, they said at month 6, we're going to do a means test. So, but you have to ask again. So if you ask, the means test was, are you being affected by COVID? And the answer was, if you answered yes, then you got another 6. So the means test was not just, did you mention it? It was, can I get some help? And then, yes, the answer was 6 more months. Now, so that's taken us to a year. And right now, we're actually 2 months past that year, and there are not foreclosures going along. Why? Well, around about that 6 months in, they say, we're going to give another 6 months, and we're willing to go 18 months if we can get support, of course, from the Fed, from the federal. Now, they're already backed. And remember last fall when they tried to add a little tax, 2.5% or whatever, to try and that tax was going to, a fee was going to be to raise the coffers for this very circumstance. Well, it got knocked down hard. But yet, here we are going from month 12, 2 months into month 8 to we're month 13 and month 14, and still no movement towards foreclosure. So what is going on out there? And so in the last one we did right around the year mark, and the third one that I participated in, the attitude is bank for bank, right? Every bank has its own opportunity now. Whereas Fannie Freddie said that let's do this industry wide. They did not want another 2008. Fannie and Freddie did not want to, remember, because since they're backing these loans, if they go into foreclosure, the foreclosure can then pay off the first, maybe not the second. It depends on what the values were. But if you guys remember that there were subdivisions full of new developments that were either in the middle of development or had brand new occupants in them, and they were all foreclosed. I mean, entire new developments. And so Fannie did not want another like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of units that became dilapidated because none of the lenders have a rental model to go, hey, let's hire this group. They'll find renters, and then we can at least cover the payments and get our money back. Nobody had those opportunities. In fact, I knew a couple of groups who would come to me and say, hey, what can you do to help us get in front of these lenders so we could be their rental people? They got shot down by all the lenders. So, I mean, there were a couple credit unions and places like that who,
there was a few nonprofits that kind of a few little things here and there.
Yeah. And so the bottom line for us now is that I do not believe, since Fannie and Freddie, first of all, the prices, the loan amounts compared to the value are exorbitant, right? So the loan to value, you might have a $200,000 loan on it, and it's worth $300,000. So the problem is they could liquidate these properties fairly quickly because there's not enough inventory out there. The problem is the mechanics of getting rid of all of these properties that we're going to end up with another. Remember, it was 5 years it took to start even catching up with the number of foreclosures. Nobody wants to sit on inventory. Include REITs didn't matter. I mean, everybody was trying to do something. The big hedge funds came in, and still the hedge fund said, you know how long it takes to move hundreds of thousands of properties, right? So no one wanted to invest that much money that far. So I believe we're going to make it another 6 months without, they did not prognosticate like they did before. They said, we're leaving it up to lenders to move on this. Individual lenders are going to run it, but lenders are already overcapitalized, and they're not lending to everybody. The markets are slowly opening up to more and more borrowers. The bullseye is beginning to expand a little bit, but there's not. I still think people are going to be safe. They just may ask for more criteria. But remember, it was, if you mention the word moratorium, you got it. And then if you said, can I have some help, you got it. Maybe this time there will actually be a means test. They're going to ask borrowers to show that there's still impact. Now compare that, Jennifer. The problem is that we've got this going on in the mortgages, but the markets are kind of opening back up, right? But the problem is they're giving away EIDL loans left and right and expanding it to 500,000, giving a 2-year moratorium on payments. So it's like nobody cares about collecting the money if it's backed by the feds.
Right.
So I don't think we're going to, I believe, well, it's awesome for me because I teach in my boot camp. I want everybody to get capitalized as much as possible so we can take advantage of any foreclosure. But we need to get capitalized now, not when there's 500 properties being auctioned off on the courtyard steps. We need to get our money in order now. So that's from what I know. That is what it looks like. That it's lender by lender, but yet the lenders are not willing to spend a lot of time foreclosing on houses yet. I haven't seen it anywhere yet.
I haven't seen it either. And I know that there was, there was moratoriums on evictions, and then that got changed and let go of in many places. But one thing
what she's talking about, guys, is that the Supreme Court said it is unlawful, it's unconstitutional to let somebody live in, if you owe money on a place, not to collect rent from somebody in that place, and you have the right to evict, to find somebody to put somebody in your house so that you can make those payments.
Yeah. So I mean, we're seeing that we're starting to see that there are things that are shifting in this, because again, you can't keep going year after year not paying mortgages. And the banks, again, that seems like it's very creative accounting to not be having anything. So where is the criteria? Do you know anything that's coming down the line for foreclosures?
Yeah, they spoke about not foreclosing a lot in the last one. They did not speak about not foreclosing. They spent a lot of time saying that, and I do this. I have a web class I'm doing tonight where we talk about that the Fed did a survey, a means test of banks at the end of last year, and of the 33 top tier 1 and tier 2 banks, they were deemed as a benefit to our economy because they're capitalized, they're not suffering. Their bank stocks. Did you notice that back a year ago, the bank stocks, their stocks went up to the degree that they did not foreclose, and so they're part of the blue chip run up that's going on in what we're at 34,000 now on the stock exchange. So the values that they have are being compensated in the markets, but while they're not collecting payments on their rents. So where it's showing up is it may be a zero-sum game that the value of JP Morgan Chase is going up, but they're not collecting revenues, but they're picking it up somewhere else, because I just know that their stocks have been going up over the course of this last year.
Yeah.
Weird state of affairs. Weird
state of affairs. On. So I want to make sure though, because I know we run out of time and I forget all the time to mention. So you have a boot camp coming up that really goes over so many of the basics.
All
and
of these,
I want to make sure that those who've been asking me some of these questions, whether you popped into Clubhouse or how, I want you to know about where they can register, and then tell them a little bit about the basics that happens, because this is 2 days live and it's coming up in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's June 4th and 5th, Friday and Saturday. Go to getfundablejennifer.com, getfundablejennifer.com, and you'll see there are 3 ticket prices. Which one has recording, one's a one-time viewing, one's got recordings, one's got a strategy session with me, which is a deep dive in your business. And so this getfundablejennifer.com, we go over 30 borrower challenges that nearly every borrower runs into, and what the solutions are to those borrower problems. We go over 30 of them. Sometimes it's 31, sometimes it's 35, depending on how much time we get. But depends on, we have question and answers. It's highly interactive. This is me live. It's over Zoom streaming, but we're live and you get to ask me questions and you get to check in to everything that we're doing. So come and join us. Go to getfundablejennifer.com, and seriously, you need the answers to these borrower challenges. Like, I'm a real estate investor. How come nobody will give me money? I'm like, I will tell you the answer, because there's very clear ways and solves and workarounds for all of this, you guys, all of it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. As always, I always have so much fun chatting with you and kind of finding out what is the state of credit, what is the state of funding, what is the state of our banks and whatnot, and how do we all flourish and prosper? So
they got money to lend, but you have to be what I call a bullseye borrower. You need to be the perfect customer, and that's what we learn at the boot camp, you guys, is how to become the perfect customer for a lender. When you fit their guidelines, they'll lend to you. They got the money, but they're not just willing to go anybody during this constriction period, right? And we talk about all of that. Juliana says, this is a life-changing event. I did the April one and my mind was blown. There it is on screen. Yes, it's crazy valuable. Thank you, Juliana, for weighing in. It is, there's so much. And she's a CPA. And she's like, the hell, I know so much about businesses and business funding, and it's all next level. So come and join us, you guys. Come and join us. That's June 4th and 5th, Friday and Saturday. And if you one of the packages, if you can't attend one day, or you can get the recordings and deep dive into what we have, 25 of them, Sky. We've got 25 versions of it. Not one of them is the same, because it evolves. Funding evolves, and I'll keep you updated, because we have a seat at the lender table, right? What they're deciding is fundable. What they're deciding they want to lend to, what are the criteria they want to lend to, and we make sure you know what that is so we can all meet it.
Well, I'm so grateful. Thank you for always shifting it and changing it and evolving it and keeping on the edge. And I love your enthusiasm and the fact that you are constantly curious. What else can we learn? What else can we learn? What else can we do to help people?
Exactly.
And it's fun. It's like putting the puzzle together.
It is so much fun. I mean, it is a blast for me. So, all right, you guys, thank you for joining us again, Jennifer. Hi to all of Jennifer's tribe. Hi to my tribe, everybody who's watching. Make sure you guys come and join us, because we would love for you to see all the magic that happens at the boot camp. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go. Get fundablejennifer.com.
Get Fundable Jennifer.
Yay!
Get fundablejennifer.com. Get fundablejennifer.com.
Everything's mirrored.
Awesome, guys. All right. Be well.